We're going to react to Ryan Crouser winning the World Championships, coming off the bench. And we're going to start right now. Before we start, you guys, throws coaches, throwers, if you guys want to come to the U.S. Throws Conference here in Pennsylvania, it's going to be at the end of November, November 22nd. You can click the first link in the description. Head over to throwsuniversity.com. You can sign up, come out. You're going to learn from myself, Darrell Hill, Christoph Kipp, Dr. Christoph Kipp, the real doctor, and Sam Weeks. And we're going to talk about all things throwing and throwing-based development. So click that link, sign up for that today. Now let's get into Ryan Crouser winning this world title. I want to talk right away. When I look at Fabry's start, who would be more with his right leg there, the interesting part with this start is that he and Crouser have both basically turned that left hip even more closed if it was, facing the back here, but they're much more closed off in that position right there. So I did want to bring that up because even with Fabry, you'll see his right foot's back here, and he's like super closed off out of the back. Now, especially compared to like how Walsh used to be, or even is to a point now. I want to watch this throw. We're going to look at it, and then we're going to just see what he does in each position and see what we can take away from this as growth in the throws-based world. Also, his left foot is basically right in the middle of the circle. One final thing I'm going to bring up is that when it was raining last year at the Olympics, what did Ryan do? He did a static start. He did a static start with the traditional stance. Static start, traditional stance. So that's a lesson for people that when it's really, really raining, like it was during the men's discus throw, do a traditional movement pattern that doesn't have a lot of movement because it's going to make it a lot easier to execute. I just want to bring that up. Okay. Yeah, this is good. So the one thing I want to bring up is, and I've been more critical of, it's funny because I feel like I've been positive in the past of Ryan and how I love the fact that he's experimented with these different starts with like the step back here, with the step and the slide here, and the fact that he's done all these things and offered, and even from the step being forward and then step over, he's offered so many different technical changes to see which one is going to set him up the best. I've even said, though, what if he would have just kept throwing normal out of the back? Would everything be the same, or would he be throwing further or less? I'd make the argument, well, maybe he'd be throwing further. He'd be doing the same thing repetitively. We could make and have this debate over and over again. The thing I want to say here that I want to admit fully is that I love this position right here with the left foot and his weight over that left. I just love how that looks. I love how it comes down. I think his left foot could come down a little bit sooner, but I did want to bring that up. Okay, so I want to provide that non-negative criticism. Now, when we're looking at this here, remember, he's going to do that step over, okay? So he loads that right, loads the right, the hips forward, loads that right, the hip comes back, and that creates more unwinding from this left side, and he's grounded here. And this is an interesting concept where I like to get our athletes, our discus throwers and our shot putters in this position. So even if they're in the back of the circle with that right foot traditional, I want them to have more with that right knee bend and turning that right hip this way, basically as though they would be going to the corner of this mat right here. Okay, so that mat right here, that's where I want to see everything push around. And I feel as though Crouser does that even more because he has the step here, and then that right side steps through. His left side leads here, but he's relatively under control. And then at this point, that right side starts to catch up. Okay. Left side maybe is falling in a little bit there, which could be why his left leg's slightly late. So he has that left hip coming in. He gets wide, comes down, and is slightly long here with that right. A little bit past the midpoint from what I can tell. Okay. Still has that classic position here. Stacked. And I think a lot of throwers could benefit from just taking note of this right here. Foot, okay? So if we look at right there and we just look at everything, his knee through his foot and his chest, nothing's past the foot. His chest isn't past the foot. His knee's not past the foot. Now, I want to go back to this point because I do believe the hip here is slightly past where the right foot is. There. Okay, just slightly, which is why the left foot here is a little bit later than if we made this comparison to like his 2016 Olympic throw. So his left foot gets deeper. Let's say right here it comes down. And in this position, he might be slightly more forward with his left shoulder. Slightly more forward with that left shoulder than he was back in 16 or even in some of his best throws ever, a couple of his world record throws. But he still has the traditional movement here with his right knee, right heel rotates, shoulder there, left foot holds, and then you start to see that right side come all the way through into that reverse. Now if we look at where that left foot is, right there, his right foot comes right to where his left foot was. That's when you know he's transferring well. Okay, so a lot of people are like, oh, Ryan's off. Ryan was hurt. From my understanding, he was quite hurt. Didn't get nearly, I would love to know how many less reps he had this year. But because he's so stable in his movement patterns and he's so dialed in with those positions, and I know he had bad elbow issues, he's still able to execute at top speed. And also a lot of people will say like, oh, elbow issues, what was he doing in training, blah, blah, blah. Dude, he's throwing 75 to 77 feet. It's not just his training. It's just the fact that that's not good on your body long term. Like your elbow is going to break down. Your back's going to break down. Your knees are going to break down. That's part of the sport. It's going to happen. And it's whoever can stave that off the longest is going to be the greatest. A la Ryan Crouser, Daniel Stahl, Val Allman, all of these greats, right? So we got to think about that. Now, I just want to go back to concepts that we can take away. I think playing around with different positions, especially in the offseason, Dr. Christoph Kipp has talked about this, how the Germans like to use really different patterns to learn positions and points of movement in the throw and even in skill learning. 2, I want to talk about that double support. The left side opens quite a bit, and then that right side gets active. 3, everybody I think can get comfortable or understand, younger kids especially, this point here with that long right leg. If you're a spinner, go today to practice. Okay, this is a takeaway I want you to do. Go to practice today, and I want you to video your right leg, and if you're bending your right knee or if it's long like Crouser, because we want you long term in 5 years to be comfortable with this long right leg sweep. Okay, that's a big, big concept. And then we want your right foot to ground early in the middle and to be balanced on top of that foot. Crouser's got that left foot there, typically a little bit lower than his left knee joint. Some people will get higher, some people will get lower. Got that position here. Tends to be maybe a little bit later than his left than he has been in the past, but still rotates really, really well forward. And also just this position. Look at your last position with where the shot is in your hand. Are you down or are you up off the concrete? Is your elbow out or is your elbow down? Because that's also going to have a big play. And then when you reverse, are you reversing forward and stable? A lot of people will reverse and sort of hop all over the place. So those are some big things I wanted to go over. He's the greatest of all time shot putter. I would argue now he's also I was saying for a while, Valerie is the greatest shot putter of all time. Now he is the greatest shot putter of all time. Valerie, no, obviously I would say second best now to Ryan. Those are some technical concepts I think you guys could implement. I think about what he's doing out of the back of the circle, getting wide with that right leg, having a long right leg on the sweep, getting that right leg down, having that fast left, staying balanced in the middle when the right leg grounds, and then when the left grounds, getting forward into that on the finish. Those are some really big key concepts. If you guys struggle with that, you're a thrower and you want to get better, you want to have better movement, click the first link down below, the second link down below, head over to throwsuniversity.com. You can pick up custom programming. We're going to get you weekly technical analysis, weekly programming. You're going to get stronger, you're going to get more explosive, you're going to get that technical aspect to help improve what that left leg's doing out of the back, long right leg, and ultimately that's going to lead to monster PRs. You know, we coached the world bronze medalists this past year in the discus throw, along with state champions in other areas, not just in Pennsylvania, but other states. So